So it seems like you already know, but I tell you, it's a coincidence. But I was born in Berkeley, just 12 miles away, 38 years ago today. And so I've been pretty nostalgic over the last couple of days because we're launching the Bay Area, San Francisco, in the city, in the area that I was born in 38 years ago. And that's very meaningful to me. So I've been thinking about my favorite memories as a kid and how I would run up this dirt trail to the top of the Berkeley Hills. And when I would get there, I would sit down and I would just stare out at San Francisco. And just looking at the city, it made me feel like anything was possible. So this morning, I put on my running shoes and I ran to the top of the same dirt trail and got there and I looked at the floor and there was a log, the same log that I sat on as a kid. And it reminded me how I used to dream so much about what my life could look like and the impact that I could hopefully have on the world. It also reminded me that I was really impatient back then. I started my first company in high school. I graduated college in 2.5 years. And I was always running so fast, but I didn't really know where I was headed or why. I didn't know my personal mission. I didn't have an underlying motivation. And so, although I was running really fast, I didn't know where to go. I felt a little lost and directionless. So I believe that every company and every person needs to know their mission. And I know if I were to ask 10 people in this audience, what's Compass's mission? I would probably hear 10 different answers. And for that, I'm sorry. But that, I assure you, is going to end today. But before I share with you Compass's newly articulated mission, I want to share with you something deeply personal from my own story. I have felt out of place my entire life. I am the son of an Israeli immigrant mother and an African-American father from Louisiana who left me and my mom when I was just a baby. Through his actions, my dad told me that I don't belong. When my mom called my grandparents to say that I was born, they, knowing that she dated interracially, asked only one question. What is he? They didn't ask, is he happy? They didn't ask, is he healthy? What is he? My mom said he is Jewish and black. They immediately hung up the phone and disowned us both. To this day and to their death, I never met them. I never spoke to them. They made it clear that I don't belong. But I had an amazing childhood. And my mom did an amazing job. You know, she literally made me feel like anything was possible. As an example, when she would put me to bed at night, she would rub my head and say, Robert, know that you could be anything you want in this world. So go to bed and have big dreams. She didn't say sweet dreams. but big dreams. And with those big dreams and my search for community, I moved to New York City, went to Columbia University. And after graduating college, I worked as a consultant at McKinsey, as a banker at Goldman Sachs, and in the White House. But looking back, I was just doing what people told me was the right thing to do, hoping that it would make me good enough to belong. But these were other people's dreams. They weren't my dreams. So searching for something deeper, I founded America Needs You, a nonprofit that helps hundreds of students a year who are first in their families to go to college. People that are trying to find their way, find their path, pursue their dreams, but need help and guidance to find their place in the world. I immediately felt more passionate and more driven than ever before because I knew the work that I was doing really mattered. And it taught me something about myself. Helping others realize their dreams is my dream. Helping people make the impossible possible, like my mom did for me, is my passion. I found my underlying motivation, my personal mission, to help people at pivotal and transformational moments in their lives. Now, I didn't need a mission in order to get into good schools or companies, but because I didn't have a sense of purpose, I often felt unfulfilled. I was running really fast, but I didn't know where I was headed or why. So this year, when I saw Compass running really fast and accelerating its growth, it became clear to me that although everyone was doing an incredible job, that we didn't have a common vision of why our work mattered. So I started working with people across the company to articulate our mission, because I want everyone, every agent, every employee, every client we touch to benefit from the same sense of purpose that I experienced. Now, a mission statement isn't a map to tell you how to get to where you're going. It's a North Star to guide us, like a compass, in the right direction. A mission statement needs to be concrete enough to ground us in the work we're doing today, but aspirational enough to highlight how the world will be different in 20 or 30 years if we succeed. It needs to speak to the vast scale of our potential and make clear why our work matters. And so we started to think about what's the right single word to ground us in our mission. We thought about words like home, like guide, progress, journey, dreams. But ultimately, we were compelled by the word place as the heart of our mission. Now, place both in the sense of an actual home, a physical space, a destination, but also place in terms of your state of being, your place in the world, a community that makes you feel like you belong. So let me share with you for the first time Compass's newly articulated mission. At Compass, our mission is to help everyone find their place in the world. Again, at Compass, our mission is to help everyone find their place in the world. To find a place, it could be a home or a neighborhood, a community that makes you feel like you belong, to feel at peace, to feel fulfilled. That's why I moved to New York City, the most diverse city in the world. A city where a biracial kid like me would have as good of a shot as anybody at belonging. I remember the first day I got there, I went to Times Square and I sat down And I must have been there until over 4 in the morning. I was looking at the lights and all the people going back and forth, and I felt like just by being there that I had made it. I felt like I had found my place. At Compass, we know how transformational it is to open up the door and feel like you're finally home. To look out of a window and see a neighborhood that makes you feel like you belong. This matters. Think about it. There's a reason why kids play house. Now, your home is the cornerstone upon which you build your life. I play house with my daughter all the time. And it's beautiful to watch how she'll go from one view of the world in her home to a different view of her home. 1 month, she'll be really focused on the dining table and having all of her friends around, all of her family. She's like, Daddy, come on, let's talk, let's have fun, we're eating. And then the next month, she's saying, Daddy, shh, be quiet, Daddy, because she's in the backyard. And notice, we don't have a backyard, the imaginary backyard. And she's saying, my baby's sleeping, right? It's a beautiful reflection of how much this idea of place matters to so many of us, and how it reflects the core of your life goals that you start developing at such a very young age. But too many people need more help finding their place. Every year, 40 million people in the United States alone move. 40 million people. Because they maybe graduated college or got a first job, got married, had a kid, maybe a second, third, or fourth kid, have to upsize, retired. Every year, 40 million people are searching for their place. 40 million every year. And I don't know a buyer, seller, renter, or agent who's happy with the way things are right now. And that's just not acceptable for an industry as large as ours. The real estate market is a $217 trillion market. That's 4 times larger than the stock market. We have the opportunity to do for this industry what Amazon did for shopping, what Airbnb did for travel, what Tesla is doing for transportation, and to improve the quality of life for hundreds of millions of people in the process. At Compass, we're building the operating system for real estate. Let me say that again. We're building the operating system for real estate. Unlike many other companies, we're focused on the entire experience, end to end, start to finish. We're building a platform that empowers agents with tools, data, services to simplify their lives and allow them to be better at guiding their clients. We're working across every team at Compass: product, engineering, operations, finance, agents, agent ops, design, across every part of the Compass team to elevate the most personal parts of the real estate process and to build technology to streamline everything else. The 2,000 people at Compass today. The 2,000 people are amazing human beings. We are a community of dreamers. We are a community of entrepreneurs that are using our talents to help people find their place in the world. We're also a community of people who have found our place here at Compass. Like Li Ming Zhao, our chief technology officer, who immigrated from China in 2003 because he was finding and searching for a place where he can get a better education and where he could ultimately build technology to impact the world. Or Jane Gelb, who grew up in a real estate family, so intimately knew how much better it should be. And she came to Compass because it was a place where she could, as an agent ops, improve this industry for people like her mom. And what makes her particularly proud is that her mom has since come to Compass to join as an agent. I mean, how special is that? Or Molly Poe, one of our amazing San Francisco agents, who isn't just in the business for money, but to be a role model for her 2 daughters and to be the best entrepreneur that she can be. And she believes that Compass is the place that will allow her to do that. At Compass, we're helping everyone find their place in the world. We envision a world without barriers between where you are and where you belong. We envision a world where your imagination is your only boundary. Every product launch, every line of code, every new office, every open house, every photo shoot, every client interaction brings us one place, one dream, one step closer to that world. Thank you for all you do to make Compass such an amazing place to work. It's incredibly meaningful to me personally that I have finally found my place here with all of you.